ain't taking nothing but win.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Unscripted Sports Show. MoneyE here, back with MLB rankings, power rankings 15, week 23. Better late than never. It's late on a Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So still can do it. Better late than never. Remember, these rankings won't affect. These rankings don't apply to the series that are just finishing this week or about to finish tomorrow, depending on when the series is either for or started on Tuesday. So these rankings are from last week, from the 8th through the 14th. So Monday through Sunday. It's been busy all week, so this is the only time I could get to it. And I didn't want to skip a week. I don't like doing that, so I'm committed to doing these. And that's what I do. As long as they're before Friday, I will do it. No. It's still Wednesday, so still doing this on a Wednesday. The recording might end on into Thursday morning. Starting this on the Wednesday night at about 11:45. So, with that said, there's a lot of series that went on. Yeah, there's a lot of playoff races going on. That's why we still wanted to do this and get this out, because I want to talk about some of the playoff races. As I'm recording this, the Phillies won the NL East division, wrapped it up on Monday night against the Dodgers, and they closed the gap. They didn't close the gap on the Milwaukee Brewers because they keep winning too. So they're currently losing 3-0 after they win this season series last night in 9-6 dramatic fashion on the Brandon Marsh home run in the ninth inning. Yeah, ninth. Oh no, was it ninth? Yeah, it was top of the ninth. Brandon Marsh hit a 3-run home run. No, Brandon Marsh was it Brandon Marsh? They put them up 3-9-6. No, it was Let me see. Hold on. I got this wrong. It was Rafael Marchand that put them up 9-6 in the bottom, in the top of the ninth. To seal the season series with the fourth victory. Even if they lose today, they win the season series 4-2. Or if they come back again, they win the series 5-1. So either way, they have the tiebreaker with the Dodgers for the second seed. So they're in control of the second seed right now. So they can lock it up possibly this weekend. Even if they lose today, I think they still can lock it up this weekend. So that's good. And they're trying to catch the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers lost today. Even though these games don't affect my power rankings, I already did it. I just haven't had time to do the show. Yeah, the Brewers won 9-2 yesterday and 9-2 on Tuesday. So yeah, so the Brewers are going to be up either 2.5 or up 1.5. If the Phillies come back, it'll be 1.5 still. They lose 2.5. Plenty of games left to catch the Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers have a tough series against St. Louis this weekend. St. Louis is still in the wild card race themselves, so they have to go to St. Louis. It's never easy to go to St. Louis And after this, the Phillies have a day off tomorrow, which they need because they haven't had a day off since the day after Labor Day. That was their last day off, was that Tuesday, the day after Labor Day. And playing every day since. I think they won every series since. They won the Brewers series, they won the Mets series, and they won the Dodgers series. I'm talking about the big series that they had. They won um, the other um, the wild card races. The Mariners were on a hot streak. They they had their 10-game winning streak snapped today. They were in first place. Now they're back, half game back. Um, the Rangers have lost 4 straight to the wild card races. Currently, the Chicago Cubs clinched a playoff today, this afternoon, Wednesday afternoon. So, I'm giving you current updates, but the rankings still don't affect this. San Diego is 5 games back from the Cubs for the number one wild card, and they're 4 games up on, or 4.5 on the Mets for the second wild card. So it's so currently the Cubs and San Diego are probably locked in 1 and 2. The Mets are 1.5 games up on Arizona after they lost today. They're up 2 on Cincinnati and 2 on San Francisco, 4.5 on St. Louis. So yeah. In the American League races, Toronto is 4 games up on the Yankees, 6 on the Red Sox. Detroit is up 4.5 after losing the series. Cleveland, they're up 4.5, so that's getting tight. And then, as I said earlier, just a few minutes ago, Seattle is now half game back from Houston after they were in first place for a day or so. In the wild card races for the American League, um, Yankees are up. Yankees are 2 games up in Boston, and Boston and Seattle are tied. Boston is in second. I think they own the tiebreaker, so they're in second wild card. Seattle is in third. Seattle has the last wild card, but they're tied, and they're both up 2.5 on Cleveland, who is 9-1 in the last 10, and they're the hottest team now because they won 6 straight. Now that Seattle's 10-game winning streak has ended, Cleveland is the hottest team now. Texas is 4.5, and Kansas City is 7.5. Even though they won today against Seattle, they're still 7 games out. So let's see if the Phillies can come back here. I think it's 9th inning. No, it's top the 8th. Okay. Blake Snell is finally out of the game. So let's see if they can get to this bullpen again. So these races are going to be interesting. The last 10 days or so, there's about 10 games left. No, about 9-10 games left. Season is over at September 28th. So that's about, what's today's date? Today is the 17th. Tomorrow's the 18th. So about 10 days left. So about 10 days left in the regular season. And it's going to be interesting races. Every team in the playoff race is still playing for something. Milwaukee and Phillies are playing for number 1. Phillies and Dodgers are playing for number 2, even though the Phillies are in control of that because they have the tiebreaker. The Dodgers are still fighting for the division because, believe it or not, they're still fighting for the division. The Phillies are the only division race that's over. Um, the closest division race, even the Cubs are only 5 games back from Milwaukee. Yeah, Dodgers are 1.5 from San Diego. If they win, I think it goes to 2. They lose, it's 1. Toronto is only at 4. As I said, Cleveland's only at 4.5 back, and Seattle is half game back. The Phillies are the only ones that have a double digit lead on the second place. Milwaukee and Detroit once had a double. Detroit and Milwaukee were once division the best division leads, and now it's the Phillies. Phillies the only ones that have clinched. They're the only ones that have a double-digit lead. Every other division is 5 games or less, and the closest one is the AL West, where yeah, so the Phillies are only division winner, the only ones that have a double-digit lead, and they're only in the other divisions, as I said, it's 5 games or less. Yes, even the Milwaukee Brewers are only 5 games back, 5 games up. So we shall see. Now let's get to the rankings. Once again, nobody drops out. Number 15 will be the Kansas City Royals. At number 15. They are 7 games back now. They have fallen a little bit, but they're still in the race. 7 games is not. 7 games is still plenty of time, but they got a huge win today against Seattle, team they're catching. So closing the gap. 7 games, yes, I know. But they were once there last week. They were there about 2 weeks ago. And then they fallen off. Cleveland was the ones who were chasing. Now Cleveland's the hot team. Kansas City can easily get hot this week and make this interesting. So Kansas City, number 15, they went 2-5 this week. So bad week, 2-5. You can't do that. Next team, New York Mets, got swept by the Phillies last week. 8-game losing streak. 1-6. The only win was against. I don't even know who they played at. Looks like the Phillies are going to lose today. I didn't think that they would sweep the Dodgers, so no biggie. Oh, the Mets beat Texas Rangers on Sunday. So they avoided the sweep after lost 8 straight. So New York Mets are number 14. Yeah, and they're on the verge of not making the playoffs if they continue this route. And they lost tonight or last night. However, it's midnight now, so last night. Number 13 is Texas Rangers. Coming at number 13, they went 5-1 this week, so I moved them from number 15 to 13. The only reason I did that is because a lot of teams in front of them had good weeks too. So, but they're in third place, and they're still quite a few games back, just like Kansas City is. They are 5 games back from Houston. and they are 4.5 back from Seattle for the wild card. So for the last wild card, 5-1. They continue to win. I think they lost the series to Houston, who is number 12 now. So Houston uh, taking the series against Texas. I think they won the first two games. So I think I'm gonna say they won on Monday. They won on Tuesday. They won today. Nope, they won. They swept the Rangers. I think is it when they play tomorrow too. No, they swept the Rangers. But again, this doesn't affect anything. So just give an update. But yeah, last week they went 3-3. They moved down one spot from number 12, from number 11, and number 11 this week. The number 7 is the Boston Red Sox, who also went 3-3. But teams in front of them had better weeks, so I had to adjust. Even though they only went 3-3, I had to move them to number 11 because you had teams in front of them that had better weeks. So number 11 is the Boston Red Sox, closing out the rounding out the bottom 11, bottom 5. Coming at number 10, the Cleveland Guardians, who are the hottest team in baseball right now, 6-1. Seattle was the hottest team. Cleveland is now the hottest team because Seattle's winning streak has snapped unless they start winning again. Unless they start a new streak, then yeah. But Cleveland, as of right now, has the longest winning streak. That's 6-1. They beat Detroit. They won at least 2 out of 3. If not sweep, they go for the sweep tomorrow or today, this afternoon. They went 6-1. They're only 4 games back from Detroit. 4.5 games back from Detroit. So Detroit better watch out. I said it. If they don't, Detroit's not careful. Detroit's been struggling in the second half. Reminds me of the Phillies last year. So yeah, they're number 9. Number 10. Number 9 is San Diego. 4-3 this week. They move. They stay at number 9. I think there are only one or two teams that stay at number 9. Them and the Cubs. Oops, I spoiled it. Yeah, so San Diego went 4-3. 1.5 games back from the Dodgers, depending on what Dodgers do tonight. Could be 1, could be 2. So yeah. Number 8, the New York Yankees. From number 4 to number 8. They were right there at the division. 2.5 games out last week. Now it's 4. They had a rough week again. Kind of a rough week. They went 3-3. But again, teams in front of them, the teams I have in front of them had better weeks, so I had to adjust. Just like the number 17. 17 in this number 7, the Seattle Mariners, who went 7-0 last week. They were on a 10-game winning streak going to this. They were on a 7-game winning streak going into this week, or 8-game. They went 7-0, and then Ohtani just hit a home run. Yeah. They went 7-0. They were yep. So they're gonna probably lose. And number 6, the Chicago Cubs. Seattle number 7. The Chicago Cubs number 6. The other team that said at the spot they had or last week. Cubs went 4-2. They're inching closer to Milwaukee. They're only 5 games back. Yes, um, yep, they're only 5 games back from Milwaukee. Hard to believe, right? Milwaukee was up 10 games at one point. Coming at number 5, the Detroit Tigers. The Cubs round out in the middle 5. And number 5 is the Detroit Tigers. Moving down from number 3. 3-3 this week. They are struggling, and Cleveland's getting closer and closer to that lead. So, yeah. By the way, I think the only 3 teams that have clinched a playoff spot is the Philadelphia Phillies, the Chicago Cubs, and the Milwaukee Brewers. Los Angeles Dodgers, I think, are close to clinching too. They should be. Dodgers coming in at number 4, 5-1 this week. They basically flipped with the Yankees. 5-1, 84-65. Had a good week. Took 2 out of 3 from San Francisco. That was the key. That was a big series for them. Get them back on their feet, and then they ran into the Phillies. The Phillies punched them in the mouth after punched their bullpen in the mouth, basically. But yeah, and the Phillies are getting punched back tonight. So coming number 3 or number 4 is the Dodgers. Number 3 is the Toronto Blue Jays. Blue Jays are back in the top 3 after being number 5 last week. Went 5-1, increased their lead in the AL East to 4 or 5. I think it's 4, but they increased it. Then they didn't let the Yankees gain a game because they won. So yeah, coming in number 2, the Milwaukee Brewers. 2-4 last week. 91-59. The Phillies, the number fighting for the number 1 seed and home field advantage throughout the playoffs, as I said. And that means number 1 team is the Philadelphia Phillies. 6-1 last week, swept the Mets, took 2 out of 3 from the Royals. Basically, taking 2 series from playoff contending teams. Even though the Royals are 7 games back, they're still a playoff contending team. They're in the playoff race, right? So yeah. Yeah, so coming in at number 1 is the Philadelphia Phillies. Not mine, but Philadelphia Phillies. So number 15, Kansas City. 14, Mets. 13, the Rangers. Number 12 is the Houston Astros. Number 11 is the Boston Red Sox. Number 10, Cleveland. Number 9, San Diego. Number 8, Yankees. Number 7, Seattle. Number 6, Chicago. Number 5, Detroit. Number 4, Dodgers. 3, Blue Jays. 2, Milwaukee. And the Phillies, number 1. So Milwaukee and Philly flip-flop. I had to put the Phillies number 1 because they went 6-1. They swept the Mets. And they took 2 out of 3 from Royals. They won 2 series against playoff contending teams. So, it's gonna be a good 10 days as the season wraps up. It'd be interesting to see who gets number 1 seed basically in all baseball because the Phillies and Brewers are best 2 teams in baseball. So whoever gets number 1 seed in the National League, it's home field advantage for the World Series because nobody in the American League is going to touch any of them unless something dramatic happens. But maybe Toronto could, but I doubt it. But you never know. I shouldn't say I doubt it, but yeah. So I'm not gonna say I doubt it because Toronto is what? Toronto is 87. Doesn't they have 89? They could they could actually catch us. So home field advantage. And the Phillies are fighting for number two, but they basically, I'm not going to say they have that wrapped up, but they're in control of number two bye week for number two. They're trying to catch Milwaukee for best record in baseball and home field advantage. So it's a three-team race for home field advantage throughout the playoffs. It's Milwaukee and Phillies fighting for number one seed in the National League, and the Phillies and Dodgers fighting for number two. The Phillies are still in some races. Number two seed with the Dodgers, number one seed for in the National League for Milwaukee, and then it's sort of a three-team race for home field throughout the playoffs. With Toronto in that mix with Milwaukee and Philadelphia. Because if you think about it, as of right now, Toronto has 89 wins. They are only 2 games back from the Phillies and 4 games back from the Milwaukee Brewers for home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So it's not a two horse race for home field throughout MLB playoffs, but Milwaukee and Phillies are fighting for the best record in the National League and fighting for the best record in baseball with Toronto in that mix now. Because Toronto is only 2 games back from Philadelphia and 4 from Milwaukee. So the Toronto is trying to get ahead of Philadelphia because if they were to meet in the World Series, Toronto would have home field. So it's essentially a three-team race for home field throughout the playoffs. Basically, home field for World Series. If any of those three teams get World Series. So, that said, MoneyE. Where is it? No, this one. Right, no. Which one is it? For MoneyE. Later, guys.